Imagine tearing down a condemned building.
Yeah.
Normally, you just haul away the trash and start from scratch.
Right, you bring in the bulldozers and just clear it all out.
Exactly. But what if you were forced to use that exact same rubble to build, a highly advanced, structurally perfect bridge?
That sounds like an architectural nightmare, honestly.
It really does. But today's deep dive is actually about a framework that wants to do exactly that, but to human knowledge.
Which makes sense because our knowledge today is incredibly fragmented. I mean, we have quantum physics over here and poetry over there, sociology somewhere else entirely.
It's like trying to build a puzzle using pieces from 5 different boxes.
That's a great way to put it. We have mountains of data right now, but, less overall cohesion than ever before.
So to fix that, we're looking at Dr. Pramod Ambadasrao Pawar's book, Theory of Everything, the Pramod Effect. And our mission today is to figure out how to take all those scattered pieces of understanding and actually unify them into a single reality.
And to do that, Dr. Pawar, who is often called the father of trans-deconstruction, he says, we need a completely new way of thinking.
A new way of thinking. Okay, let's unpack this. What exactly is trans-deconstruction?
Well, he argues that classical deconstruction, which you might have run into in a literature or a philosophy class, is sort of failing us, mainly because it only dismantles ideas.
Wait, I need to push back on that a little bit. Isn't dismantling a bad idea sometimes, completely necessary? Like if a framework is broken, we should tear it down.
Oh, absolutely. Tearing it down is necessary, but it's really only half the job.
Right.
And that's the big difference with trans-deconstruction. It doesn't just stop at the rubble. It takes those fragmented pieces and reconstructs them into a unified whole.
Okay, so if classical deconstruction is the demolition crew that blows up the building and drives away,
Trans-deconstruction is the recycling plant that uses the dust and the debris to build that new bridge you were talking about earlier.
got it. But how does that actually work in practice?
The engine behind that reconstruction is a concept called universal zeroness, or shunyawara. It essentially treats nothingness not as an empty, dead void, but as a field of infinite potential.
A field of infinite potential.
Yeah. Everything unfolds from that zero state. What's fascinating here is how this perfectly bridges hard science with the arts.
Oh, really? How so?
Well, in quantum physics, a vacuum isn't actually empty. It's teeming with potential energy. You have particles constantly popping in and out of existence.
Oh, right. Quantum fluctuations.
Exactly. And then in music, it's the absolute silence between the notes that actually gives a melody its rhythm and its meaning. The void is basically just waiting to become something.
Okay, but if this void is so full of potential, how does it physically transform into something real? Because looking at the book, it maps this out using a pretty unorthodox mathematical equation.
Well, it does, yeah.
It's 1 minus 1 equals 0 equals 1.
Yes. And I know a standard calculator would completely reject that.
Right, it breaks all the standard rules of math.
It does, but it maps perfectly onto how systems actually evolve. You start with unity, which is the first one. Then it meets its exact opposite, the minus one.
Okay, so there's conflict.
Exactly. And the friction between them neutralizes into that state of zeroness, the zero. But because that zero is full of potential, a renewed, evolved unity is born from it, which is the final one.
Here's where it gets really interesting for me. Because this is abstract, so let's ground this.
Sure.
Think of 2 massive rival tech companies. They're the one and the minus one. They compete so aggressively that they completely bankrupt each other.
Leaving an empty market.
Exactly. The empty market is the zero.
Yeah.
But out of that exact void, a brand new startup emerges with a totally revolutionized product. And that is the new one.
That's a great way to look at it. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, Dr. Pawar calls this process the cosmic web of meaning.
The cosmic web of meaning.
Right. It suggests that opposition and diversity aren't bugs in the system. They are the invisible grammar of existence. You fundamentally need that friction and collapse to reach a higher level of unity.
So what does this all mean for you? I mean, how is this actually being used? This can't just be a thought experiment for philosophers.
Oh, it's not. It's actually a blueprint for the 21st century. It's already being applied to global institutions.
Really? Like where?
Take the GISR 100-star educational framework mentioned in the book. Instead of accrediting schools based solely on standardized test scores, it flips the model. 90% of the evaluation is based on human values.
Wait, 90%?
Yeah, and only 10% relies on AI or metric verification.
But how do you even measure something like human values for an official school accreditation? That sounds so subjective.
You evaluate active mechanisms. So instead of multiple choice math tests, a school is judged on, how effectively students mediate conflicts or the tangible impact of their community service projects.
So it's about measuring coexistence in action.
Precisely. Dr. Pawar even takes these concepts into pop culture. He writes trans-sci fiction novels like Zero Genesis, using fiction to explain these massive cosmic realities.
That makes a lot of sense. If you start viewing human society as a single living organism, then your everyday interactions aren't just random, isolated events,
No, everything you do is rippling out. It's affecting the whole structure.
which the book calls the cosmoflux continuum.
Right. It's a reminder to basically drop our narrow enclosures, whether those are strict academic disciplines or even national borders, and just recognize that the universe is a living, breathing network of relationships.
It really is. The Pramod Effect is ultimately asking us to see the hidden connections in the rubble around us. And the text leaves us with this incredible principle that, well, energy never ends. It only transforms.
Which completely shifts how we perceive finality.
It really does. And this raises an important question to end on. Think about a recent personal failure or a painful ending in your own life.
Right.
If energy only transforms, could that ending simply be your own universal zeroness? It might look like an empty void right now, but maybe it's just the necessary zero state, gathering potential, getting ready to become your next renewed unity.